Welcome everyone to our end of the year celebration. All right, we are going to have a great evening full of our top 10 Dentrix takeaways from 2022. So we are going to kick it off in style. And so we're going to be talking about the top 10 year-end Dentrix takeaways for this year. Now, if you all don't know who I am, I'm Dayna Johnson, your Dentrix expert for the evening, and I've been in dentistry for, gosh, over 25 years. I've worked in 2 dental practices up in the beautiful Pacific Northwest, and I became a certified Dentrix trainer in 2005. So I've been training for about 17 years, and this was my lucky year. I won Trainer of the Year this year, so that was woohoo, awesome. Super excited to have won that honor. And so what we're going to do first off is I want to kick it off with a couple of polls because I want to see who's on with us today. We're going to start with, the first thing we're going to start with is a moment of silence, okay? So if you want to bow your head and do a moment of silence for Easy Dental and Old Website Manager and Old Communication Manager, we're gonna have a moment of silence because they are gonna rest in peace after this year. So, moment of silence. We're gonna put Easy Dental and Old Communication Manager away. End of life for these 2 amazing softwares that a lot of us grew up with. You know, I was an Easy Dental trainer for many, many years. And I know some of you that might be transitioning over to Dentrix right now because your Easy Dental is going away. I know some of you that I've been talking with are transitioning over to Patient Engage from Old Communication Manager, or you're using Old Website Manager, and you know that your forms link is gonna change. So I know I've been talking with a lot of you about that. But here's why I put it on the top 10. The reason I put these 2 softwares end of life on our top 10 is because it's a good thing. It's really a good thing because I don't know how many of you know, but Henry Schein 1 has about 1,000. No, they only have about 69 different softwares that they support, which is a lot. And so they're in the process of consolidating their software platforms so that they can use those resources and be able to not feel so spread thin. You know, they want to be able to take those support resources, the development resources, and put them into their core products so that they are able to really hone in and deep dive in development into the core products that they have and not have so many duplicate softwares out there. So it is a good thing. It's going to make the software department better. It's going to make the research and development better. It's going to make the development better. And so those 2 things made the top 10. And I hope that all of you, if you're transitioning to any of these softwares, that if you have any questions, we certainly can help you. You know, I have a lot of offices I used to be on Old Website Manager, Old Communication Manager, because I launched the Dentrix questionnaires electronic forms when the forms first came out, like within the first year of electronic forms. So I used to use Old Communication Manager all the time. So let me know if you have questions. I certainly can help you out. Certainly help you out there. And these are in not any particular order. They're not based on my favorites. I basically kind of put them in order as to how they came out, how they rolled out this year. And the first one I want to talk about, this takeaway came out in Dentrix version G7.5. And I think this is pretty cool. So if you haven't seen this yet, this is on the treatment planner. So if you open up the treatment planner, if you're following along, you can open up the treatment planner. If you just want to watch, you can certainly do that. So this feature came about in 7.5. So earlier this year, 7.5 came out in March of this year. And this feature, if you open up your treatment planner with a treatment plan and you're like, this estimate just really doesn't look right, you know, and you want to know, you want to try and figure out how Dentrix is estimating, then you can open up this, let me grab my pen here, this new window right here. So if you open up this little drop-down menu right here, then you're going to get this little tutorial as to how is Dentrix estimating that patient portion. So in this situation, in this estimate, it's estimating that the insurance is going to cover $515.50 of this crown, 50%, and the patient's portion is 50%. Now, if you want to try and see down here, why is Dentrix only estimating $119.20? It'll show you down here exactly where it's pulling that information. So it's going to tell you if it's coming from the coverage percentage. It's going to tell you if it's coming from the payment table. It's going to show you if there is a deductible that's being applied. It's going to show you how it's estimating the patient portion. So that is the number one our top 10 first item on the list. So did all of you have you known about this cute little feature, or is this kind of new that you're just seeing this for the first time? Yeah, it's new to you. I know, it's pretty cool, right? Mine is not showing this. How do I need to upgrade? Okay, perfect. This is Dentrix version 7.5. If you don't know what version you're on, if you go up to your help at the very top of the any Dentrix module, go up to help and click on About Dentrix. Let me show you. If you go on help and click on About Dentrix, then it's going to show you right here what your installed version is. All right. I am on version 22.5, which came out just a few weeks ago. So it should tell you right there what version of Dentrix you're on. All right, great questions. Let's see. I knew about the estimate of patient portion, but didn't think our team uses this information yet. Okay, great. So I think that estimating is really popular. You know, maybe before you generate that estimate for your patient, before you want to feel really confident about your insurance estimates. And a lot of times I work with teams and they're like, you know, where is Dentrix estimating? Where is it getting this number from? And a lot of times it's because there's something in the payment table that's wrong, or, you know, there's something in this override where somebody has put something in this override here. You know, we have this insurance override button, and sometimes there's stuff in there and it messes up your estimates. So it's really great that now we have that new feature where we can see where the estimate is coming from. All right, questions about that? Item number 2 is also about insurance, and any of you out there who are in network, raise your hand if you're in network with any insurance plans. Yeah, I know, everybody, right? All right, if you are in network with an insurance company, but you want to post full fee across all modules, you want to post full fee to your ledger, you want to post full fee to your treatment plans, but you want Dentrix to calculate the estimate based on your allowed amount. This is new, okay? This came out in version 7.7. So if I go in here into my insurance module here, and you go into the coverage table, oh, I'm sorry, yeah, coverage, I'm sorry, payment table, okay? Payment table, right here, the allowed amount field is now active, okay? Now, if you open up this window and you still have a little asterisk right here next to the, whoops, if you still have a little asterisk next to your allowed amount, allowed column, then you just need to upgrade. So the allowed amount field right here became active in version 7.7. So now you could put in here, what does this insurance plan allow for that procedure code? And you could either add things in here manually. So I could go in here and I could put in my D, 2740 porcelain crown, and they allow, 850 for a porcelain crown. Okay, now if you put in that allowed amount, then when you go to estimate, it's going to use that 850 price instead of your full fee, which may be 1,000 or 1,200 or something. So you could still post the 1,200 to the patient ledger and the patient treatment plan, but it will use the 850 when calculating. So who's all excited about that? Yeah, Kathy's excited. Oh, Kathy's excited because she won the book. Who's excited about the allowed amount? Raise your hand. Anybody? Yeah. So this is really great for offices who are in network, but you want to post your full fee in your system. So, I get a lot of offices, they're like, I don't want to post my fee schedule fee because I want to be able to see the adjustments. And I understand, I get it, but fee schedules have always been more efficient and more fast and best for estimating. So now you have an option. Yeah, exactly. All right, I'm just reading through some of the questions here. I love fee schedule estimating. I do too. So the reason I still love fee schedules is because I can see, here's why I still love fee schedules, is I love fee schedules for several reasons. Number one is all my reports are still in net production. And so my production reports are not inflated. I can see net production on my appointment book. So when I put in my production goals, it's more accurate because I am trying to schedule towards net production and not gross production. Another thing I love about fee schedules is that your patient ledger is more accurate, so you can collect in full in real time. You can send billing statements in real time because you don't have to wait for that insurance payment. So I love fee schedules. I will never veer off of fee schedules. But I do have many offices that say we're absolutely not using fee schedules. We want to use our full fee. So now here's your chance that you can now use full fee, and you can still estimate better, estimate easier with the new allowed amount. All right, that was number 2. Partially paid claims. How many of you that are listening, watching, do any ortho? Raise your hand if you do any ortho. Yeah? Cassandra, you're doing ortho. Beverly's doing ortho. Angela's doing ortho. Kara, you're doing ortho. When I was in my practice, our practice was probably 25 to 30% ortho in a general practice. We did quite a bit of ortho. And ortho is a little challenging when it comes to Dentrix. I get that. And we do now have the way to post partially paid claims, okay? So let's say, for example, you're doing ortho, and you have this claim for ortho. Let me send it to insurance here. And this plan pays a monthly payment, or they pay a quarterly payment. And so you have this insurance plan that pays monthly or quarterly. So when you go to enter a payment, there's now this little field over here where you could mark it as partially paid, okay? And the reason that's important is that the claim will stay open. So it'll stay on your insurance aging report as an open claim until it's fully paid off. So you can continue to make more payments onto that same claim, and it doesn't take it off of your insurance aging report. This also was launched in Dentrix version 7.7. So partially paid claims is new as well. And while I'm here, I'm just going to kind of go backwards just at one little step when I was talking about allowed amounts. So if I am, so let's say that these claims went to insurance and now I'm paying off this claim here. If I'm itemizing by my payment to this claim, this is where this allowed amount comes into play as well. So if you are in network with this plan and you're posting a payment, then you could say, okay, the allowed amount for this procedure code is only $50. And so I can enter in that allowed amount while I'm entering in my payment. So if they only pay, $50 here and the allowed amount is $50, then it will update that payment table allowed amount as you're entering in payments. So so I showed you how to do it manually on the insurance plan. This is how you can do it, update those allowed amounts during payment entry. So allowed amounts and then partially paid claims, those both happened this year in version 7.7. All right, any questions about that? Is Dentrix Reports, formerly called Practice Assistant. So if you were used to the Practice Assistant, then this has been completely redesigned. This came out in 7.8, okay? So here's the Practice Assistant icon. On the Office Manager, on the toolbar, so the Dentrix, it's now called Dentrix Reports. So if I hover over the icon, it's going to say Dentrix Reports. It used to say Practice Assistant. So they completely rebuilt this Practice Assistant module. And there are several reports in this module. Now, I generated most of them earlier today, just so I didn't have to go through the steps of generating them. But there's lots of parameters that you can enter into these reports. And so this is the continuing care statistics. It shows you like active patients, how many patients are in continuing care, how many patients are not in continuing care. It shows you like how many perio maintenance you have, how many pro fees you have, which is kind of cool. So you can get a good idea of your perio, how robust is your perio program in your practice. I love this because usually when I am doing an assessment, I calculate this percentage manually. And so now I don't have to calculate that manually. It tells me the percentage of my patients that are in perio. So if you have worked with me at all, You might have heard me say that to have a healthy perio practice, a healthy perio recare system, you want to see like at least 20 to 30% of your practice in perio. Most of the time, it's in the practices I go into or I do assessments for, it's usually less than 5%. And I know there's lots of reasons why we don't do perio. You know, that's a whole nother conversation. But I do love this report because it does show us very quickly what our perio percentage is. This other report, this is your daily provider transactions report. It looks kind of like a day sheet. Patient overview just gives you like kind of an overview of the day. And it just shows you, this is kind of cool because it shows you if the patient scheduled their next appointment. So I know a lot, I mean, we want patient retention as high as possible. We want that pre-scheduled percentage as high as possible. And so this report will show us if our patients scheduled their next visit. So this is a really good kind of maybe end of the day report. Let's see, just saw a hand go up. So let's see if there's something quickly. Yeah, just put your questions in the questions tab if you had a question like right off the bat. How long does it take to generate oh, it's super quick. It's super fast to generate them. I just didn't want to take the time in the meeting to do that. This one is kind of cool. This is the dental insurance payment summary. What I really like about this report is this average days to payment. And that can be pretty eye-opening if you're doing any kind of analysis on your PPO plans. Like maybe you're trying to get out of network and you want to see like the insurance companies that are really dragging their feet. That's a really good report. And then the other one I really liked was this one. This is the dental insurance transaction analysis. It also shows you, you know, what was billed out, what was paid, what the estimate was, things like that. So there's 2 new insurance payment reports. We never really had any insurance payment reports in Dentrix until now. So this is really cool that you have these 2 that you can kind of use to analyze your insurance plans. New patient summary, it's kind of similar to the referral analysis report. It shows you kind of how they got to your office. It shows you your referral sources, treatment, and things like that. The practice goals analysis, this is one of my favorites because it shows you the goal for the day, because you can enter in your production goals and then you can see your production and then compared to your goal for the day. So I really like, this is one of my favorites. And then procedure summary just kind of gives you a percentage of different procedure codes. So you can analyze the percentage of codes in your practice. So I really like that one. We didn't really have that report before. I know this might be a really good one to kind of see you know, you can analyze what hygienists might be doing, what percentages of perio versus prophies. So that's kind of cool. The aging report, I'm not a big fan of aging reports. And then schedule summary report, I really like this one because it does show you your unfilled hours, your percentage of scheduled hours, number of appointments, things like that. So it's kind of like the daily huddle or the practice advisor gives you those that kind of information. So that's what this one is. And then this is probably my favorite. The scheduled production forecast is probably my favorite because this looks out into the future of your appointment book. So you can look maybe at the beginning of the month and see, what does my month look like? Or you could see like, okay, what does next week look like? And you can see like how many hours you have scheduled, how many appointments do you have scheduled? Are you at goal? Are you below goal? So this is probably one of my favorites on the list. All right. Awesome. That's one of my favorites. Why don't I like aging reports? Because I don't like looking at a static report. I don't like printing reports. So my favorite report for accounts receivable is the collection manager. Just because these static reports are good to look at, but they're not really good to like actively work for accounts receivable. Long at all, super easy. Dentrix added the gender field, other, simple. Now it matches up to the ADA claim form. So when you are putting in your, if you have patients that are using other gender, or they, what is it, non-binary, whatever they decide to do, we live in a free country. People can do and, say what they want. They can be who they want to be. We love people for who they are, and people can be whatever they want to be. So they added the other field. There was really no negotiation. There wasn't a research group that sat down and said, should we have it as this way or this way? There was no negotiation on this. It just matches the ADA claim form. So if you're looking for something a little bit different, that's the reason why they put the other, is because that's matches up to the ADA claim form. The other place that you will see the other field is also in the electronic forms setup. So if you're using Dentrix forms, electronic forms through questionnaires, then you now have the option to change your form so you can have the new gender field. So you would have to go in and edit your form, and then you'd choose to have this new male, female, other field and in your patient information. So those are the two places that you're going to see that other gender field, is on the family file for the ADA claim form, and then your electronic forms through questionnaires. That new feature came out in 7.7. So Dentrix version G7.7 was kind of a big one. We had allowed amounts, partially paid claims, and the gender field were all in 7.7. Okay. All right. We're done with page. This is the tip sheet you're going to get, by the way. So I'm just reading off of the tip sheet that I'm going to send you all. All right. Absolutely, you are going to love this one. Okay. Now, by show of hands, I'm going to lower everyone's hands. Okay. By show of hands, how many of you have had a patient walk in the door or be, dismissed out of their appointment for today, and they had a copay, they owe money today, and it's like, oh, oops, I forgot my checkbook, or oh my gosh, my wife has my credit card. Okay, raise of hands, how many of you have had patients that come in knowing that they owe money today and leave, or are getting checked out, and they're like, oops, forgot my money? Yeah, probably all of you. Unless all your patients prepay before they walk in the door. We have all had that situation where patients are being, checked out, and they're like, your copay today is $200. How would you like to take care of that? Oh, well, I forgot my checkbook. Can you just bill me? Can you just send me a bill? Right? Oh my gosh, that's so frustrating. Okay, so this feature came out recently. Oh my gosh, I can't even read my tip sheet. 7.8, 7.9. It's on the ledger, okay? It's this little icon here. See that little icon there with the dollar sign and the big bubble next to it? All right. It's called text to pay. All right. Text to pay. So if I click on this, I can send the patient a text message requesting money. So I could put in whatever dollar amount I want in here. You know, I could put in $100, you know, if they owe $100 today. If you have, so a patient is here today for their crown, their copay is $500 and they forgot their checkbook. So, you know, you could just put in here whatever their copay is, put in their phone number, and then it's going to send a payment request right to their phone. So you could do it right as they're standing there in front of you. They will get a text message right as they're standing in front of you, and then they could put in their credit card when they get back to their house or wherever they left their credit card. You know, you could use it for, I have an office that I was recently with that requires that their patients make a 50% deposit. They have to give a 50% deposit or their appointment is rescheduled. So, which, you know, more power to them. So they could send this text request and the patient could put in their deposit before they come in, and they could get those requests before the patient walks in the door. I would love it for, I'm making collection calls, and I am calling the patient to, you know, get their payment over the phone. Well, in the past, I never had a way of, you know, really giving them a secure way of putting in their payment. So I'd have to just write their credit card down and then put it in manually. Now I could just send a text request right to their phone. All right. What do you guys think about that? Awesome. High fives. I know, I love it. I think it's awesome. Any way that we can get money faster is a good thing. Yes, great. I know. I'm fine. Which just came out in October. 7.9 came out in October. And so before I show you this, let's just talk for a second, because we know that insurance companies are sending us a lot of virtual credit cards for EOB payment, right? I know, it's awful. It's awful. So my first recommendation is always opt out of any virtual credit cards, okay? Opt out, because anytime you take a virtual credit card for payment, you are having to pay a merchant fee. And if you are having to manually key in a credit card number, you're now paying an even higher merchant fee because you don't have the card in front of you. Okay, so it's costing you a lot of money to take these virtual credit cards. So opt out of all of them. Opt out as much as you can. Okay, so that's my first recommendation. Now, in the past, if we did get one of these virtual credit cards, we would have, and we're using Dentrix Pay. This is assuming that you're using Dentrix Pay, because you put in the credit card through the credit card machine, or you punch it into the credit card machine and it auto posts to the ledger. And then you have to go in and put in the payment on the insurance claim. And you would, you know, even if you click here, credit card payment, now you've got the posting on your ledger twice. So you'd have to delete one of them, okay? Now, what Dentrix came up with now is, and I can't show it to you because I don't have Dentrix Pay installed. I don't have any e-services on my tutor database, so I can't actually physically show it to you, but you'll get a little Dentrix Pay icon on your toolbar, and then you can enter an insurance payment through your Dentrix Pay system. So this new feature is called Insurance Pay, and it is built into Dentrix Pay. So now you can pay off your insurance claims with a virtual card, and you don't have to delete one of them out. Okay, so this feature just came out with 7.9. So any of you out there that is using Dentrix Pay, you have a WorldPay terminal, which, I love Dentrix Pay because you get a Pay Now button right in your Quick Bill statements. You can use the new text to pay. Okay, there's so many great things about using Dentrix Pay, and now they just added one more with the virtual credit cards that you're getting. Even though my first thing is always opt out. Okay, we're gonna do another giveaway. How many? This has been one of the biggest requests to date, I think. So how many of you have to go through and you're clicking on all of your clinical notes and you're making sure that all the clinical notes are in, that they've been signed, that they're complete? You just go through your schedule and you have to double check, is the clinical note done? I have to look at it, has it been signed? Well, guess what Dentrix finally came out with? Signature Manager. All right, woohoo! Signature Manager. So you're gonna see a little icon on your toolbar. Let's see, let me get this out of the way here. So on your appointment book right here, you will have a new icon that is called Signature Manager. When I click on it, let's see, it looks like this. All right, so you can look and see, is the clinical note missing? Has it been written, but it's just unsigned, or this one's been signed and it's all done. So this is a way for your doctors or your hygienists to go through their schedule. You can resort it by provider. You can resort it by date. If you want to look at everything for today, you can see here we've got a lot of patients here that have come in today. I've got all my notes are missing for today, except I have one that's unsigned. So if it's missing, I mean, you technically could write the note from here. So I could click on this little edit, and then it brings me up my clinical note with all of my templates here. And I could write my note from here. I could, maybe I could put in more notes here. I could write my whole note here, and then I could sign it while I'm here. I could sign it, lock it up, close it up, and now, now it's going to show that that note is completed and it's been signed. Yeah, I know, right? How many of you are excited about that? Woohoo! We have been waiting for that for years. I know. Now, if you go to your patient chart, you'll also be able to see the signature manager on the patient chart as well. So you can get to it from the appointment book, and you also will find it here on the patient chart. So, two different places that you can see the new signature manager. So that just came out in 22.5. So, I know a lot of you are now texting your IT company and saying, we need to upgrade to 22.5. That's it. That's our top 10. Okay. So let's just review.